Hello, my fellow DC Comics fans and fans of the DC Cinematic Universe Facebook page and group. Welcome to the 4th episode of the DC Cinematic Universe podcast. I'm the head admin of the DC Cinematic Universe Facebook page and group, Mitchell. And joining me today is my fellow admin, David. How are you, David?
I'm enjoying my day.
That's good. That's always good. So, on this podcast, we are going to talk about the recent news concerning the DC Cinematic Universe. So, let's get started. First up, we have the first official photo of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, which was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. David, what do you think of this photo?
I love it. Her costume looks beautiful. It's a modern take of her costume of Wonder Woman. I like how they added the gladiatorial feel. It makes it look like that Wonder Woman is like a true demigoddess, a true warrior princess.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think there's a lot of people out there that
hmm
are saying this costume is a ripoff of Xena, the warrior princess.
Which I think it's a stupid excuse because as I recall, Xena is technically a Wonder Woman ripoff, and Wonder Woman came out decades before Xena even was a thing. So I don't know where people are getting this idea that Wonder Woman's costume is a Xena ripoff. And I also recall that there have been times where Wonder Woman has worn a battle skirt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was. She started off wearing a skirt, not a battle skirt, but
hmm
she started off wearing a skirt. Her classic outfit did not come till a little while later.
Yeah, I
But
remember.
the Xena comparison, there's a great it's a great thing here that I'm going to read real quick. So, in
hmm
1941, Wonder Woman was in 1941 she was established as an Amazon princess from ancient Greece. In
hmm
1995, Xena was an Amazon princess from ancient Greece. In 1987, Wonder Woman wore a battle skirt and armor. In 1995, Xena wore a battle skirt and armor. In 1972, she threw her Amazon tiara like a boomerang. Wonder Woman did that. In
Yeah, I remember.
1995, Xena threw her same type of thing as a boomerang. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. In 1987, arch enemy, Ares, god of war, was Wonder Woman's. Xena's arch enemy, Ares, god of war. So you look at it, Xena is a rip off of Wonder Woman. I've honestly never seen Xena though, the actual
I have.
TV show.
I grew up
So
watching it with my dad, so I would know.
so I couldn't really speak on a lot of the things, but just that those facts right there kind of show that Xena is technically a little bit of a ripoff of Wonder Woman.
hmm
What would you also say to the people saying that you look at her in this photo
hmm
and she's too skinny?
I think that's another dumb excuse because Gal has been lifting weights and exercising, trying to get in shape for months now, and from the pictures I've seen lately of Gal, it looks like her arms are a little bit bigger now than they were a few years ago when she was doing the Fast and Furious movies.
They are
But
bigger now. They
she
definitely
looks
are.
good. She looks great in shape. I mean, that's all I have to say. I mean, she's taking the role serious, and I don't know why people are still saying that she's skinny. We can't. People have to remember that comic book characters have exaggerated physiques. I mean, there is literally no actress out there that looks all big and buff like the way Wonder Woman looks in the comics, especially if you look at some of the artwork that was done by some Wonder Woman artwork done by Ed Benz or by Jim Lee or not Jim Lee because Jim Lee has always portrayed Wonder Woman as lean and athletic, not muscular. I'm talking about like artists like Ed Benz. But
But
either way, Hmm?
David, there is one actress just like that, and her name is Gina Carano. But only
Oh
the one problem with her is she can't act.
no, Gina. But then again, Gina, she does have some muscle, but she's not like overly muscle, like on steroids, like some people want Wonder Woman to look like. And we also have to remember that Gina Carano is a short woman. She's only 5'8", and Gal is 5'10". And from what I've looked up some database on Wonder Woman, she's listed to be 6 feet tall in the comics. So I say Gal comes pretty close to matching the required height for Wonder Woman.
That's true. That's true. And I also think when you look at her as being too skinny, I don't really
Mhm.
like the term too skinny. I prefer to say her body type, just because you can be skinny and still have a muscular body type,
Mhm.
right? But Gal Gadot has an athletic body type.
That's what she has.
Yes,
She
meaning,
doesn't have like a fighter type body.
but there's also athletes out there that also have an athletic body type, but are also muscular. They don't have a muscular body type though. It's a different
Mhm.
type of body type. And one is a really recent person to come to the front line, and that is Katie, Casey Catanzaro. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. I probably butchered that. But she's the first woman to advance to the finals of American Ninja Warrior, and she's really good. She's
Yeah,
like she could kick my ass any day, but and she's the same body type as Gal Gadot. She has an athletic build,
and
and
she's shorter than Gal too. She's only 5'1".
I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah, I mean they mentioned it on that episode when I decided to watch the rerun a few days ago. They list Casey Catanzaro is listed at 5'1", 100 pounds,
Well,
which is which is shorter because Gal is like I said, 5'10", about 100, I think 100 or 140 pounds.
well, I think she's around 120 something. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. She looks like she's around that.
Hmm.
Ronda Rousey, a UFC world champion,
Hmm.
same body type as Gal Gadot, has
Yeah.
muscle on her, but she's not a muscular body type. She's an athletic body type.
Hmm. And she's only 5'7", only 5'7", and I believe 135 pounds around there.
So
And
there's
that's a and, hmm?
no, go on.
And that tells me that with a person whose body type like that it doesn't require that much muscle. It just requires athleticism and a lot of focus and energy, not for somebody to complete feats like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and that's the thing that a lot of people misunderstand. They they get the two body types mixed up, a muscular body type and an athletic body type. They get them really confused, and it's and that's the problem right now with all of this. It's not that she's too skinny; it's that they want her to have a muscular build when she has an athletic build.
But which is true, and in a way, you can't really have a woman. Nobody can have both, or maybe they can.
No, I either have one or the other. There's no both. All right, well let's move on to the next thing here, and that is about the Trinity of DC Comics. Henry
Yes.
Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot walked out on the stage of Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. They didn't stay to talk about the movie, but they did appear together on stage. David, did you see this, and what do you think of it?
That was an epic moment. To me, it was like that was the moment that really defined 2014 San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, for the first time, we finally got to see the actors that are gonna play Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in a movie together before they don their costumes. It was a truly epic moment. To me, I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased right now, but this whole DC panel was really the whole DC panel, including like the TV shows, even though they're not part of the DC universe, the cinematic universe. To me, was really owned San Diego Comic Con 2014. This was like the best panels.
Yeah, I
I
agree with that, though. I agree with that, and I'm not trying to be biased here, but
hmm
looking at it from a non-biased perspective, I watched the Marvel stuff, I watched the DC stuff,
Yes, me
and
too.
when you look at what was being talked about after, it was
Hmm.
mostly DC.
Yeah, it was.
You go on all the websites, all the entertainment websites, they mention the Marvel stuff, but the majority of their articles focus on what DC talked about.
Hmm. And not to mention that earlier before Saturday, a lot of buzz was going around with the new picture of Ben Affleck's cowl, and that was generating a lot of buzz. And the funny thing about that is that when it came, I know a few months ago people were were being hard on Ben Affleck and Gal, but for the last few days, ever since that happened, I've been seeing nothing like but positive threads, like a lot of an increase in positive threads regarding them. It seems like now people are starting to get used to them or like starting to back them up or appreciate them,
Oh,
which is
I still see a lot of negative stuff about Gal Gadot.
yeah, I still do,
I don't see as much about Ben Affleck, but I see a lot of it about Gal Gadot or Gal
but
Gadot.
I'm starting to see more positive stuff on her like lately. Some more positive than more negative,
There
and
definitely is more positive now.
yeah. And I'm really that's what I like. That's what I'm really liking about it. We need a more positive vibe for them.
And what do you think? I also love of that at the point where they came out on stage. Um, what's his name? Chris Hardwick. He is a true nerd. Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, he
He
is.
really is. He goes, I got to get a picture of this, and he took a selfie with Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, which is pretty cool.
Hey, who I would have done the same thing too. Come on. These guys are playing my favorite superhero, my childhood superhero, so I might as well get a picture with them. It's a memory, you know, in the future it's gonna be one of those pictures that's gonna be worth 1,000 words.
Oh, I would have gotten a picture too, definitely. If I was on stage with them, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, everyone would. But like I said, it was a truly epic moment. It was something I was expecting to see. You know, I mean, I wasn't really expecting it, but it took us all by surprise.
Well, I was expecting that they would do that. I was expecting that they would either bring out the Trinity or the entire cast of the Justice League. The
Well,
Justice League cast was a bit of a stretch, though. I think they'll do that next year.
hmm well, the
But
thing about it,
I was expecting either that or the Trinity, simply because of what Marvel did with the Avengers when they first
yeah,
announced that they brought out the next year they brought out the cast out on stage.
yeah, I remember that. But the thing
So
is,
that just and they did the same thing this year with the Age of Ultron cast. But it makes sense to do that because it gets everyone more excited. Suddenly, it's not just a concept. You see them on stage; it's a reality.
hmm well, the reason I think Warner Brothers did that is because they're trying to take their time. They're not rushing into their movies. Seeing how Zack is still filming Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and we won't be seeing that for another 2 years. So maybe I think next year, or when they actually bring out more stuff regarding the movies, because you know, once June 2015 hits, we're gonna be almost a year away from just a less than a year away from the movie, and then right there they'll probably announce even more movies. What's gonna happen in the future with the DCCU? Heck, the Almighty. I think next year's when they're gonna do it more, and probably in 2016 as well. Because remember, their
Well,
universe is still in the first stages.
next year I think they'll have a lot more than just 4 minutes
hmm
of a panel. I think they're gonna have like at least a 30-minute panel.
I think so too. Hopefully, and like I said, hopefully they'll announce more stuff, and they will even bring out the League cast, and that's a picture I definitely I'm gonna put on my computer screensaver as my computer screensaver.
I don't think we're gonna get a picture of the Justice League in costume together
hmm
until like the first trailer hits for the movie, which
hmm
won't be. I mean, the movie's doesn't have a confirmed release date yet, but it's rumored for 2017.
So I've
So
heard.
I don't think we'll get it until late 2016. A picture of them, the first poster or something like that. At least that's what I don't see them releasing a picture next year when it's 2 years away. They did it for Batman Superman, but I don't think they'll do it for Justice League.
They're probably going at least the latest we'll probably see is by 2016. And by then, because that's when when this movie will be out, be Batman and Superman. So the latest we'll most likely see is I estimate is by 2016. And like I said, there were DC. The thing is that Warner Bros. They like to take everything slow. They like to take everything step by step, and they're not rushing it. And that's what I like about them.
Well, no one really. I mean, you look at. I don't want to say. I mean, because Marvel's not really rushing it with
hmm
their universe. They've spent time building it up, so now they can start cranking out movies.
hmm
So they're not rushing it. Marvel. They've become successful at it, whereas Warner Brothers is still trying.
hmm and they're taking it slow because they don't want to risk a flop, and that's what I like about them.
Well, they can't afford a flop right now.
No,
You
they
see, if
can't.
Batman and Superman flops, that's it.
Yeah, I know, and I
No,
hope it
no
does.
more,
I really
no,
hope it
no
does.
more.
I don't
I
really.
mean, they're if the rumors are true and they're filming Justice League back to back with Batman and Superman, which it does seem like they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
then I still think if Batman and Superman flops, they will release Justice League.
They can
But
still do
after that, but after Justice League, if that doesn't make money, that's it. No more. At least that's how I see it. No more cinematic universe.
it, and I hope it does. That doesn't come to that.
Oh, I don't think it will. I don't see any way Batman and Superman are going to flop. I don't see that happening. I see them maybe losing money if they open against Captain America 3, which it's planned to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, both movies will lose money if they open against each other, simply because a lot of people can't see both on the
Mm-hmm.
opening weekend, or both at all. So they'll pick one or the other. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
So both movies are going to lose money. And I don't see it coming to that. I see somebody moving at some point.
I think one of them will move because they're. I doubt they're both gonna open against each other.
It would hurt both movies financially. But and Marvel can take a hit though. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. But
Marvel's at the point now where they can afford to lose money on a movie. They don't want to, but they can afford to. DC can't afford that right now. Or at least Warner Brothers with the DC movie. They can't afford that. So I see them moving. Maybe a week up or a week behind, but I see them moving at least a week.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, but let's move on. But let's move on to the next thing here, and that is the teaser trailer for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was shown at San Diego Comic-Con. The trailer was not released outside of Hall H, but it was leaked online, so you might have seen it. But
I did. I did.
right, yeah, me too. But the description of the trailer is Batman is standing on a Gotham rooftop in the rain. His costume isn't what we've seen already. It's big and bulky, like his armor in The Dark Knight Returns. His eyes light up, solid white. He's moving a tarp, revealing the bat signal. He turns it on, and the camera tracks up to the sky. Superman is there, hovering in the light. He doesn't look happy. His eyes light up with heat vision as he glares at Batman. The title comes up. And that was the teaser trailer. And David, what did you think of this teaser trailer?
It looked beautiful. It was just epic. It reminded me of let's see, it kind of reminded me of the scene from The Dark Knight Returns actually. I mean, we all know that the movie's taking some inspiration. It's not based on it. It's taking some inspiration, but it reminded me of that scene from when they're about to fight in the story.
Oh, I think it was meant to remind you of that scene.
Yeah, I think
I
it
mean,
was.
with the armor and everything, that's what they were going for, the Dark Knight Returns feel. And I think the thing I noticed with it is it has, and all of his movies have this, but it has Zack Snyder's visual style.
Mm-hmm.
All of his movies have this real distinct visual style where you can tell it's a Zack Snyder movie. And this is no different. And I also hope that I mean, Man of Steel did not have this, but I really hope this movie does. I hope we at least get one, like, slow motion fight scene, like in 300.
Oh yeah, that I would have wanted.
That would be pretty cool.
Now that I would want to see in a future DC movie. But like, and also the armor from I could see a little bit of the armor. It looks now to me the armor that Batman wears in the teaser. It kind of reminds me not only of the Dark Knight Returns suit, but it also reminds me of the armor that he wore in the DC Universe Online in the opening movie. It looks like a combination of those two armors.
Well, that was based on the Dark Knight Returns armor, wasn't it?
I think it was. I mean, it had some, but his helmet looked kind of bigger in it.
I don't know. I mean, the one thing I hope, and it won't happen, but I'm a huge fan of the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, so am I.
Unlike a lot of DC Comics fans, I love that fight scene. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, good.
You know, a lot of people will complain that Batman won. I could care less. It was an epic fight scene. I would love that fight scene in the movie. I don't
As
think
long
it.
as
I don't think we will get that exact fight scene. I don't think either hero will win. I think it will either end in a draw, or I hope how it ends. Wonder Woman breaks it up.
that's how I hope to see it too.
But I don't think either one will win. I've said this before. If you have one hero win, half the fan base is going to be completely angry.
Mm-hmm.
You have Superman win, all the Batman fans are angry. You have Batman win, all the Superman fans are angry. So you have to find a middle ground. You can't have. I mean, they might get brave and have one win, but I don't see that happening.
I don't think it's gonna happen like that either. The fight will probably most likely end in a draw. It's like you said, we can't, no, neither one can win because then it's gonna anger one or the other's fan base. So it's better to have their fight end in a draw.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Well, there's one news story that I almost forgot about right here that I would like
Mm-hmm.
to address real quick. It has nothing to do with Comic-Con, but it was yesterday, actually. That's why I almost forgot about it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
Jason Momoa, who is currently in Michigan. He posted a photo to his Instagram from a shop in Ann Arbor, which is by the water.
Mm-hmm.
You think we'll get an Aquaman announcement soon?
I think we will. I have a strong feeling that Jason Momoa might be playing Aquaman. Like now that I think about it, and if he is, I mean, I'm fine with the casting. I mean, he wasn't my first choice. I was hoping for maybe like Liam McIntyre, but I'm fine with Jason Momoa because he's a badass. I mean, he has a huge fan base. So and what and he has like I said, he has a huge fan base, and he could do the role justice. And he's played like a badass in Game of Thrones. He was an awesome warrior as Conan. So I think he will do good if he does it, if he's cast, and I think he really is. He's really taken us by surprise.
See, there's no doubt in my mind that Jason Momoa is Aquaman. I don't doubt it at all. It has not been officially announced by Warner Brothers, but it's been reported on by Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, two of the
Mm.
most reliable sites on the internet. And when it's reported on by them, it's most likely official.
Yes, it
You
is.
know, it's most likely legit. The same goes for Deadline, but I don't think Deadline covered this.
Mm-mm.
They might have, but they weren't. Like, they might have did like a week later based on the reports by Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. I don't think they covered this story though. But Jason Momoa, there's no doubt in my mind that he's Aquaman. And the fact
And
that he's in Michigan where they're
mhm,
filming the movie
it's
just
a
kind
dead
of just
giveaway.
adds to that, you know. And
It's a dead giveaway to me.
He's in Ann Arbor, which is right by the water,
Yeah, it
which
is.
is also pretty cool. So
Also, there's another news we forgot to cover that I wanted to bring up. A few weeks ago, we forget that Dwayne Johnson was announced.
yes,
That's another
yeah.
thing.
Well, he wasn't announced, but he said, yes, he was announced because he said he was doing a DC movie. But he said he was talking to DC a couple, maybe 5 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week, no, 2 weeks ago he did the interview,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that he was playing a DC Comics character. He gave two clues to this character. He said the character had the power of Superman, and then he gave a clue, just say the word. Now, I can think of two characters that have the power of Superman, the equal power of Superman, and activate their powers by saying a word. And that's
Mm-hmm.
Shazam and Black Adam.
Yeah, the same here too. Like I think in my opinion, to be honest, I think he's either hinting at either Shazam, may possibly Black Adam, or possibly even Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, but Martian Manhunter doesn't say a word to act to really, he's not known for a word. You know what I mean?
I know, but that's one of my speculations. Like he's probably saying just say the word to throw us off because a lot of celebrities when they get cast as a superhero, sometimes they like to throw like little subtle hints just to throw us fans off.
I don't see Dwayne throwing us off on this one.
But that's
I
just me
honestly,
though.
I see Dwayne Johnson, like Dwayne Johnson's doing what Vin Diesel did.
Yeah.
He is not afraid of Warner Brothers coming after him for saying stuff. He's going to say it anyway. You know?
Hmm.
Vin Diesel did the same thing when he was cast as Groot, only he threw these things out like, oh man, what if he's playing Vision? You know? Like he threw these little
Yeah.
pictures out of Marvel characters.
Yeah, I remember.
And then finally it was a picture of him with the Groot head, and that's when, oh, he's Groot.
But
So
but either way, like I said, I mean, whoever he plays, like I'll be happy because I'm a huge Dwayne Johnson fan, and I'm hoping I really want him play a superhero. So I'm dying to see him play one of like a superhero character.
oh, me too, man. I mean, Dwayne, if anyone in Hollywood needs to play a superhero, it's Dwayne Johnson. I mean,
Definitely.
this guy looks like a superhero. He's got the build of a superhero. I mean, it's crazy. I saw Hercules recently.
I haven't
Wasn't the
seen it.
best movie in the world. I didn't really like it that much, but he was really good in it. He wasn't awful in it. It was just I didn't like the movie, but he is a superhero. This guy. I mean, this guy's believable as a superhero.
He definitely is.
So yeah, there's that. And what do you think if he is in it? Do you think he'll be Shazam or Black Adam?
I'm mostly hoping to see him as Shazam.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I would not mind seeing
I
him
just
as.
because the
I
thing is
would
like
not. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him as Black Adam. I don't think he's ever really played a villain before. That would be interesting to see.
Mhm.
But I think he fits. His personality is Shazam's personality.
It
He's
is.
got that like. He's a man child, Dwayne Johnson, to put it in those terms. I mean, he really is. He's a child. He's got this. He's a grown man, but he's got the personality of a child in a way.
Yeah, he
You
does.
know. So, and that's Shazam. I mean, Billy Batson, a child, or I mean, not really a child, more of a teenager, but still a child, gets these magical powers. He can activate it with a word. He says Shazam. He becomes a full-grown, powerful man.
Yeah.
I could see Dwayne Johnson doing that. But my only problem with him as Shazam is if he is Shazam, will he be in the majority of the movie? Or will the majority of the movie be about Billy Batson?
That's a possibility. That's what we need to know.
That's my one question, because I would like him to be in the majority of the movie. So if he is Black Adam, he'll be in the majority of the movie. But if he is Black Adam, he'll probably only be in the first Shazam movie.
Hmm.
That's also a problem I have with it, is if he's playing Black Adam I don't see as one of those characters that's gonna be in a lot of DC movies. Whereas
That's what.
Shazam, I see him in like the Shazam movie. Maybe not the first Justice League movie, but the second one. You know?
Hmm.
So I see Shazam going far, and I don't see them getting a person like Dwayne Johnson for a one movie character like Black Adam.
They want to get him for more.
That's how I see it, yeah. Because Dwayne Johnson has a huge fan base.
I'm one of
Huge.
them.
I mean, yeah, me too, definitely. But there's people that, like, there's people that love Dwayne Johnson that will go see this movie for Dwayne Johnson, and that's it. You know? Not many people know the character Shazam. I know the character Shazam.
I know him too.
You know him too. DC Comics fans know the character Shazam. Not many people do. If you ask people on the street, do you know who Shazam is? Or his name in the past, do you know who Captain Marvel is?
I bet if
They're
people, yeah,
not, like, 1 out of 10 people are gonna know, probably. The rest of them aren't gonna know what you're talking about. You know? They're gonna think Captain Marvel, is that a Marvel character? It is a Marvel character, and now it is, because they changed the name, and now is it Carol Danvers? Is that her name in the
Yeah,
Marvel?
yeah, Carol
Yeah,
Danvers, yeah.
yeah, she's Captain Marvel over on the Marvel side. So they'll think it's a Marvel character. I thought it was a Marvel character when I first heard the name.
Yeah, I did too.
Just it's Captain Marvel, Marvel Comics. Sounds like a Marvel character, you know. It's not though, and that's one of the reasons why I like the name change too. It's just
Yeah,
because
me
it,
too.
it it clears that up. You hear Shazam, it can be a DC Comics character or a Marvel character. It's a DC Comics character, but you could think it's either one. Captain Marvel, I had no idea that was DC. I always thought it was Marvel.
Same here.
So, so that's maybe just me, but that's what I thought. Well, that's it for the news we have here. So let's move on to a couple questions here I've got picked out. I posted something to the page in the group asking people to submit their questions, and I've picked a few out. Eric Bowles writes, do you think that the other announcements we thought would be at San Diego Comic-Con are being held out for New York Comic-Con? What do you think, David?
Well, I don't think they're being held out for New York Comic Con because usually at New York Comic Con, nothing really happens. They just there to promote shows and TV shows and movie and sometimes in video games. I think they're probably being held out till next year because because remember, like I said earlier, we're still 2 years away from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and I think by next year when they will be 1 year away from the movie, they're gonna start talking about what they have planned out for the future of DC movies. So I think we will most likely be hearing future DC some of those announcements until at next year's Comic Con or probably at the 2016 Comic Con.
Yep, I agree. I completely agree with that because New York Comic Con
And I've been to New
has
York Comic
never
Con
been,
before.
huh?
I've been to a New York Comic Con last year.
Oh,
That
cool.
and I can tell you from one time going there that they all they do is usually promote have panels for video games and just TV shows. They never have had panels for movies. Actually, sometimes they have, but I'm talking about like straight maybe like low rent movies,
Hmm.
but not big budget movies like big budget superhero movies. So like I said, we'll most likely hear at next year's or probably 2016's Comic Con.
Yeah, definitely. But I've never like seen any big announcements come out of New York Comic Con. So
Me
that's one of
neither.
the things. But the big announcement, obviously, that we thought was going to be at San Diego Comic Con was
Hmm.
the whole movie list for DC Comics, their whole slate of movies. And
And I
Nikki Fink reported on that, who was the founder of Deadline.
I mean
I still think that's true. That
it
list of
could be
movies,
true.
I still think it's legit. I
I
just
think
think
so too.
think they're holding off announcing it until next year.
They just don't want to rush into it.
No, I think they wanted to announce it this year.
Hmm.
I think they didn't announce it because it was leaked.
Hmm. But I still think and that's one of my reasons. I think they didn't want to announce it because it's leaked, and they're trying to. And like I said, there's Warner Brothers is still in the early stages of developing their cinematic universe, and
But
they're not trying to rush
I
into it.
don't think it had anything to do with rushing it. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it had to do with it simply being leaked online. I think they were a little bit angry at that, and they decided to hold off on announcing it until
They were
next
trying to be
year.
cautious.
Huh?
They most likely are trying to be cautious about it. They're
Yeah, yeah, I suppose. But all right. So that's it for that question, I suppose. Let's move on to the next one, and that is from Unrealized Thought. Don't think that's your real name, but we're gonna go with it. Why aren't people like Bruce Timm involved with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice? Bruce Timm is the one who co-created the world's finest animated movie, along with the longest reigning DC animated universe. So why isn't he attached to the project? What do you think, David?
I have no idea why he's not involved. Maybe because I'm not. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest.
I have the answer. Maybe not the right answer, but an answer that I think it is. I don't think Bruce Timm wants to be involved in it. That's my answer. I don't think Bruce Timm has any want to do a live action movie or to be involved in one. Bruce Timm, I mean, he writes things, sure, but he's an animator first and foremost. He loves drawing. He loves animation. I don't think he wants to do something that isn't animated.
That could be a possible answer.
And I also don't think, I mean, he's done this DC animated universe since the 90s. I don't think Warner Brothers would ask him to do something that he doesn't want to do, because he's been very successful in doing stuff that he wants to do. But that's just my thought on it. I don't think he wants to do it. But maybe that's, that could be the wrong answer. He might want to do it, and Warner Brothers just doesn't want him to do it. But I don't think he wants to do it.
Well, we could just leave. Well, that could be a possible answer. We'll just leave it like at that. You could just leave it at that, like that. Maybe say that.
Yeah.
Why he's not involved, we'll never know. Yeah, but at least we have one. We know one thing. At least we know that Jeff Johns is involved. So
not heavily involved though. That's where a lot of people get this confused. He is heavily involved in the TV shows. In 2 of the TV shows, Arrow and The Flash. He is heavily involved in those. He is not heavily involved in the movies. He's an executive producer on the movies. They don't do much on movies. They do a lot of the TV shows. Executive producer. An executive producer credit on a TV show. You're probably writing episodes with that credit. You do a lot of work on that show. You have a lot of input on what gets put into the show. On a movie, an executive producer credit is one of the lowest credits. You have the director, the producers, executive producers, and associate producers. Executive producers mostly handle the financial side of it. They try to get money for the movie, or they try to find locations. They do lots of things like that. They handle the production side of it. Whereas the producers and directors handle the creative side of it. But they also do some of the production side, but they mostly handle the creative side. So that's where Jeff Johns is in the movies. Now, I have no doubt he has some say in what gets put in the movies, but I don't think he has a lot, simply because of his title.
Well, I could agree. I could agree to that.
Let's move on to the next question here, and that is from our fellow admin, Josh White. And he asks, do you think Wonder Woman will fly? If not, do you think we'll see an updated invisible jet?
I think she will fly.
You think she will fly? I'm going to be the guy here that says I don't think she will fly or have an invisible jet. I don't think it'll be either. I just think she'll be an expert warrior. I don't think she will fly or have an invisible jet. I can see both working, flying or invisible jet. We've seen Superman fly in Man of Steel. It looks spectacular. So it could work for Wonder Woman. But we've also seen the helicarrier in Avengers, and that turned invisible and that was pretty cool. So I think an invisible jet could work as well. But I don't think they'll do either of them. I think she'll just be a warrior. Can't fly, doesn't have a jet. At least that's how I see it.
I mean, I think she will fly. I mean, like we all know that Zack Snyder's directing is, and he likes to stick to the source material. And honestly, I prefer that she flies because I never really was a fan of the invisible jet, to be honest. I always thought it was kind of cheesy. But that's just me.
I don't think she will fly. And I think the reason she won't fly is, I think when you have all these characters, Justice League is probably going to have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. Right there, if you make Wonder Woman fly, there's 3 characters that can fly. Superman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. They all fly. Now, when you have, in my opinion, at least this is just me, when you have all these characters with the same power, it just becomes oversaturated in a way. It's now not, it's not unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole, like with these superhero movies, I love them because not only I love the comic books, but mostly because it's the impossible within the mundane. It's this incredible feat that's being done in our world. A fictional version of our world, sure, but that's why I love them the way I do. And that's one of the reasons I loved Man of Steel, was because they made it out to be like our world, our Earth, you know?
Mm.
And I think when you have all these characters with the same powers, it just becomes like Superman isn't unique. There's all these other people that can do what he can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
At least that's just how I see it. And we got one more question here.
All right.
And that is, of all the announcements, which was the one that really blew your mind at San Diego Comic-Con? And Dan Walsh asked that. I forgot to say his name.
Well, to me, the whole DC, the whole Warner Bros. DC panel was the one that blew my mind. The whole panel. I mean, I can't choose one. I mean, I love the whole thing. It was something that that took us by surprise. And I love it. Like I'm still talking of everybody's still talking about it. I still right now I have the whole picture of Ben Affleck, Gal, and Henry together for the first time on as my computer screensaver. So that whole DC panel was what really got to me. I loved it. It was the one that blew my mind. I mean, seeing my three childhood favorite heroes, like I said earlier, on screen together for the first time was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, look, I completely agree. The whole panel blew my mind. But there's one thing that when I saw it, it blew my mind the most. Because I didn't think we were going to get it, at least not this year. And that was Wonder Woman's full costume, the official photo. I didn't think that was going to come this year. I thought maybe next year, or just not until the movie's released. But we got it this year, and that's why it blew my mind, because I wasn't expecting it.
And honestly, that one, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of agree with you on that one, Mitchell, because and the reason I say that I'm gonna say that the Wonder Woman costume kind of blew my mind is because, like I said, I thought we were gonna get it next year because I recall a few months ago, I think last month, Zack Snyder was saying that he still hasn't filmed any scenes with Gal in her Wonder Woman because she was still working out to get in
Yeah.
shape. And I had a feeling that so maybe they're not gonna reveal it till maybe next year. So maybe by the time when Gal's more beefed up, they'll have the picture ready. I mean, I had a feeling that the costume was already gonna be ready. They just didn't take a picture of Gal in it, and I thought we were gonna see that next year. So that's one of the things I could say that I could say that blew my mind, and I ended up loving it. Heck, I even have that, and I have that picture as my phone screen. So
I have a picture of a fan-made poster of the Trinity together as my screensaver.
yeah.
So,
But either way, like I said, the whole Comic Con panel, even though, and I also want to say another panel that blew my mind was the whole DC TV shows. I mean, I know they're not connected to the movieverse, but the whole panel where they brought out the whole cast of Gotham and Arrow and the Flash and Constantine together on the screen was another panel that blew my mind. Like
yep.
those two panels really were just beautifully done. I loved it. I think I'm gonna have to say. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna have to go. I'm biased again. But I really loved how Warner Bros. And DC did their panel this year. It was well done.
I agree. I completely agree.
It was by far
Well,
my favorite.
So do you have anything? I guess that's it. That's it for this podcast, I suppose. Do you have anything you would like to say, David?
That's about it. I pretty much covered everything, gave my opinion on everything. And all I just have to say is that I'm just really happy that we finally got to see the Trinity together, Wonder Woman's costume, and like if now I'm even more excited for the DC Cinematic Universe to take off. Like I'm really hoping that these movies, that the next movie's a huge success. You know, we get more super DC hero based movies. Like I
Oh,
said,
me
I'm done.
too. Me too. I really think that slate that Nikki Fink was talking about is completely true. I said that before, and if I'm right, and it's completely true, we're in for a lot of good movies.
Yes, we
We're
are.
in for what was it? Batman versus Superman, Justice League, Shazam,
Wonder Woman,
Wonder Woman,
a Green Lantern,
Sandman, Green Lantern, Flash.
and maybe possibly a even which I hope to see, a Justice League Dark movie.
Yeah, well, Guillermo del Toro is working on that. He's been working on that for the past 2 years now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been 2 years
We hope
since he first talked about it. I think it's been 2 years.
hope to see that soon.
I do too. I really do too. But the thing with I think the Justice League Dark movie is I don't think it will happen until after the first Justice League movie.
I think so
I
too.
don't think
Because they're waiting.
I don't think it's coming before that.
It'll
Just because
happen. It's gonna have to happen after.
I think it'll happen around the same time as Sandman. Just because they're both the same type. They're both the supernatural type of things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I also, there was also reports a while ago of Fables, The Metal Men, and all of that. But I just can't. 100 Bullets was one of them on there, and 100 Bullets and Fables are not part of the DC universe. They're DC properties, but they're like Watchmen. They're not part of that
Universe.
Yeah, and they were looking at movies for all of them. I don't know if that's happening anymore, just based on this slate. They could still be planning it, and they just don't have it on the slate yet, which means it's in the very early stages. But yeah, and I'd be really out of all of them, I would be really interested in a Fables movie. I have not read all the Fables comics, but I've read some of them, and they're really good. So I'd be interested in a Fables movie. But the Metal Men is one I'd really be interested in too.
Same here.
Have you read any of the Forever Evil stuff from the New 52?
Not yet. But I know the Metal Men. I've heard of them.
Yeah, well they got introduced in the New 52 with Forever Evil. All that went on, and the Metal Men came into the New 52. And the great thing about how they came into the New 52 is Cyborg is sort of the leader of the Metal Men in a way. He's not really the leader, but he leads them in through Forever Evil. Which is, we already isn't 100% announced by Warner Brothers, but like Jason Momoa's casting, it was reported on by Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, and that is Ray Fisher as Cyborg. And whether it's true or not remains to be seen, but it was reported on by two very reliable sites, so I believe it. And if they do have Cyborg in these new movies, the Metal Men would make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm, they would.
Just because in the New 52, he leads the Metal Men. So he would probably be in the Metal Men movie. And if they do a Metal Men movie, it will be after Justice League, probably, and it will be a while off. But you already have Cyborg introduced in Justice League. People know the character. People probably like the character. Then you do Metal Men based off Cyborg in Justice League. People already like him. People know who he is. You do Metal Men, people are going to go see it because they see Cyborg. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that type of thing. Which is, and you got to do that with a character like Cyborg. You can't do a solo movie with him. It's not going to make money. It might make some money, but it's not going to make a lot just because he's not a central character. he's a Justice League member, but he's not one of the main characters in DC Comics. You know what I mean?
He's not like a huge name, we could say.
Like, no one knows who he is. If you were to go
Mhm.
on the street and ask people, let's like Shazam, do you know who Cyborg is? The comic book character? 1 out of 10 people is going to know who he is. The rest of them aren't going to know. I wouldn't know. If I didn't read comic books, I wouldn't know who Cyborg was.
Me neither.
So there's that. And then you show them a picture from, like, the Teen Titans cartoon, and maybe they know. You know?
That's one possibility.
But... So there's all that. But yeah, most people don't know who Cyborg is. And that's the thing DC's doing right. They're introducing a lot of the characters that people don't know in team-up movies. They're getting these characters established in these team-up movies that people are going to see. And people are going to go see Justice League for Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Some people might be there for Green Lantern, The Flash, and Aquaman. I doubt anyone's there for Cyborg. Which is sad to say, but I doubt anyone's there for Cyborg. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's unfortunate. I like Cyborg. I think he's a great character. I think his origin story is very unique. But he's not popular. At least not yet. I do know he's one of Jeff Johns' favorite characters. I mean, Jeff Johns loved him so much, he made him a core member of the Justice League. A founding member. The way I look at Jeff Johns, he has 2 favorite characters that are not well known. Cyborg and Captain Cold. Those are 2 of his favorite characters. And they're very, for one, I've never been a fan of Captain Cold. I've always seen him as a Mr. Freeze ripoff.
Same here. That's what I always thought about Captain Cold.
But reading how Jeff Johns wrote him, and all throughout Forever Evil, and even now in the main Justice League title, I'm starting to like Captain Cold. Captain Cold's pretty cool. Have you read any of you haven't read Forever Evil. Have you read any of the after stuff with the Justice League?
I'm not, yeah, I need to catch up big time.
Forever Evil is definitely something you should read. I really enjoyed it. I would read the Trinity War first, though.
Trinity, yeah, I know. I have to catch up.
Just because it leads into Forever. I would read Trinity War, Forever Evil. It's because it leads into both. I don't know. I don't know if it's in. I think Trinity War is in a graphic novel format already.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna get it soon.
I'm not sure if Forever Evil is or not yet.
Not yet.
It's definitely worth reading, though. It's really good. All right, so we've went off on tangents, but I guess that's it for this episode of the podcast. In the description box below on this video, there are links to the DC Cinematic Universe Facebook page and group. Please click on the links, like the page, and join the group. There are also links to the news stories that we've talked about. Also, if you like the podcast, please subscribe. That is the best way to support the show, is to subscribe and listen to each episode as they come out. Till next episode, next month, goodbye.